Okay, so this recording is for classroom teachers to do Diary of a Worm. So I think the first thing you would want to do is show them the book or read the book to them if you have a copy of that. And then go back through and look at the pictures and show them the pictures and say, where do you feel like you are when you look at these pictures? And hopefully you'll get some responses like, I'm on the ground, I'm small, I'm little, I'm looking up, things like that. And then I want you to talk a little bit about, so the artist sets the perspective, the illustrator sets the perspective of the story. So we really know that we're seeing this from somebody who's in it would be like another worm, or from something small that lives where the worms do. And a great example of that, of a worm's perspective, is the one with, I think they're on the playground and the girl has the huge shoes and the worms are looking up and the shoes look absolutely humongous and you just see little bits of the worm's head. That is an excellent idea to talk about perspective. And you could talk about what the vocabulary word perspective means, like from what angle you're viewing it, from what direction, or from which area you're viewing whatever's happening. That's your perspective. And you can talk about that in art, and you can talk about perspective in other areas of life too, if you wanted to do that. But so have a little classroom discussion about that. They usually engage in that pretty well. And then say their assignment is to come up with a drawing from a worm's perspective. And they can't copy one from the book. They have to come up with their own. And so I usually encourage them to do 3 or 4 little mini sketches. So like we would take a piece of paper like this and we divide it into 4s. And they'd have to do 4 little different sketches with their pencil of 4 different ideas, not the same idea over and over again, of a worm's perspective. And then they can talk to their neighbors and ask their ideas and say, hey, which one makes sense to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to show you? Because that's what an illustrator tries to do. They try to tell a story. And if their sketch doesn't tell a story, like their neighbor can't figure out what it's showing, then it's probably not a good illustration. So they can do that, and then they can pick one, and then they draw it large. So they're going to draw large on their paper, and they're going to draw with pencil and encourage them to draw light until they get it right. And then they will draw it on an 8.5 by 11 lightly with their pencil. And then when they're done, I would have had them outline it with Sharpie and then color it really nicely with no white showing through, strokes close together, no scribbles. And you might encourage them that this could be a really nice fair project, and that might help them do a nice job with that. And I'm not going to do an example of this because what happens when I do an example of this is half the kids copy mine. And that's not what this one is about. There are some that it's fine to copy mine and just work on following the instructions and work on our techniques and stuff. But this one's about their own creativity. So we really want to encourage them to come up with their own idea and carry out their own idea to fruition in this project. So, as they get started, you're going to have kids that want to quit. It's too hard. I can't figure out how to draw, or I messed this up. I want to quit. I want to start over. I would make sure that you've set a deadline for this project and you tell them, well, you can start over if you want, but you only have 2 class periods to get this done. How are you going to finish it? And encourage them to make smart choices about starting over and not starting over, and that they have to have a finished product by the time they're done. And finished means colored well and done neatly and things like that. So I really I push kids to keep going and not start over unless it's just an absolute tragedy, like they tore their paper in half, or something like that. But really just say being too hard is not a reason to quit. Just figure out how to modify it or to change it a little bit. Just because the process is the project. They don't understand that, but keep telling them, hey, we're learning from this, even if it doesn't quite turn out the way we want it to. So that's kind of this project. Let me know if you have any questions on it. But it's a fun project, and a lot of the kids, the ones that like the creative stuff, really get into it. But you'll have a few that are just like, this is stupid. I don't know what to do. And you're just going to have to, encourage them and get whatever you can out of them. That's how it goes. That you have them in your classroom. So anyway, let me know if you have questions, and I hope this goes well.